But first, my name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com, and I am here at my desk. I've been here for 2-3 days, even though I have not been in the public Twitter sphere, and I apologize. For some reason, there's like 4 or 5 imposters out there, and one of the imposters actually has more Instagram followers than I do, so they thought I was the imposter. So we're trying to get that rectified, and then too many different people were trying to use my Twitter, and all of a sudden they took it down. But thank goodness, Redler Premium, which has basically all the different charts that I post and everything that I do on a day-to-day basis, that has been up there with 25, 30 charts every single morning with a morning call and a video. I apologize. There's been no 6:30 club for the last 2 sessions, but it is what it is. That's what happens. And I'll tell you, friggin' places are horrendous. Twitter doesn't have you can't get anyone on the phone. Red Pup to my left has been trying to get a hold of people from Twitter. He has to go through like LinkedIn to find an associate who could answer a phone because it's crazy that publicly traded companies like that don't have like a customer service department. Anyway, if you look here, some guys like, what goes on in Redler Premium. Hold on, let's leave this real quickly. Basically, the advanced version of everything that goes on usually in the public Twitter sphere. Okay, from all of these charts all day long, updating the CAT, the Qs, the VTF, the Boeing, the SPYs, the PayPal, the BIIB, you name it. Besides trades and yesterday the Qs, the Bitcoin and silver and gold and coin itself and ADA and Mana and Ethereum, Soxel and Netflix and Amazon. Remember the Red Dog reversal yesterday led to a little trade. So anyway, everything that that you get on the public Twitter sphere in little doses, I do extensively in Redler Premium and on the virtual trading floor. So I do apologize that I left you guys high and dry, which I did not do. It was Twitter and the friggin' imposters out there. Anyway, enough about that. Let's just get to where we were. Whoops, and hold on a second. This is one portion of my options. So anyway, which I've sold some Amazon puts again. Let's go right back to the chart. So today, what was the thought process today? The thought process for me today was if we get a hot report. What's a hot report? Meaning like above 1.2. The consensus was at 800 to 1.2. That what would happen? The banks would make higher highs and they would sell tech real fast. So that was the game plan. So the game plan was, I did all my morning work. I'm like, if I was in the 6:30 club, I would have said, if it's a miss, you're buying tech and you're selling the banks. If it's hot, the bank's going to make new highs. They're going to try and sell tech, and we'll see what happens. So that was the knee-jerk reaction. So it's always good to know what the knee-jerk reaction is, and then know what the revision to the mean could wind up being if it means nothing. So anyway, here's the S&P. Yesterday we reclaimed 4160, right? Is this 4160? Here is the low here of this is 4147. I don't know why it's 4136, but that was the 21 days. So we came in today saying, hey, not too bad, right? You have the low of the week, which is 4128, which kind of held the lower level of the channel. And then this was Tuesday, this was Wednesday, Thursday, we reclaimed a prior low. You could have got long the SPYs if you wanted to take risk into the jobs report, or you could have even waited. And then today, what did we do? We took out 42.18 and hit a high of 42.38, just like that. Another channel, another new high. Pretty methodical. For me, one of my biggest day trades was the SPYs today. The SPYs, yeah, the SPYs. Why the SPYs? Because I came in long the Qs and I made good money in the Qs, and I sold it. I actually held the risk into the print, just thinking that everybody was thinking the opposite against the consensus and against tech, so I figured I can go with it. But then once all of a sudden the market opened and tech was okay, and then they were starting to buy some of the value cyclicals in the hole, like a GM or like a Ford or like a JP Morgan. I'm like, you know what, the tech, SPYs are going to break out. So anyway, bought a lot of SPYs through 420.70 by why? Because in order to get to 421, 422, 423, what do you have to do? Get through the prior pivot of 420.70. And I wound up going another $2 after reclaiming this spot yesterday, which could have got you to cover your shorts if you were bearish and could have got you long if you were tactical. Anyway, that's where we are, or that's where we went to. So are we overbought now? No. So if the market wants to continue next week, it can. The Qs yesterday, what did it do? That was kind of, what's the word? Constructive. Okay, constructive is a good word. It was constructive when what? We held Tuesday's low, made a higher low, and then reclaimed 328.30. That's why I got long. And then today you had a big, loose, wide range doji, which still is giving you indecision because people still don't know whether or not tech is okay or not. Either which way, it was good to have it mapped out. Mapped out was resistance on a gap fill, 337.05. It went to what? About 40 cents below it, not too shabby. And it filled the gap. So now this gap is gone. So get rid of the gap. No need to worry about the gap. Okay, and this gap was filled too. So now what do you have here? A whole lot of friggin' big rangeable noise. So, but again, it's good to know where those pivots are. So this is now your new pivot. This is your new resistance. So here we have, you can even get rid of that now. You have a doji in the middle. Here's your highs, and this right now could just be a bigger channel. So we have to play the ranges. What does play the ranges means? It means have a little less risk on, be tactical, gap up, maybe you short into resistance, gap down, buy into support, look for relative strength in the first 15, 30, 45 minutes and figure it out. That's what's been happening all week long. You haven't had that much risk on and you've been able to figure it out and watch the money flows. But for right now, here is the Qs. So above the 50-day, smack in the middle of the range. So now we'll have to see what's next here. If you opened up down on Monday, okay, could happen. You could say, hey, I'll be a buyer versus 331.30. If we opened up, hey, maybe there's room to the high here of 336.65 before worrying about the higher. So you have to like put it in compartments. As far as FANG's concerned, everything's still different. Google gave you a nice trade yesterday for some of the guys looking to buy in the hole. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll tell you what I mean by that. Here was your inside range, right? They sold the report, came all the way down to here's your pivot. Then yesterday, it held the 21-day, reclaimed 23.08, which was what that was right there, right? 23.08 right here. So if we want to reclaim 23.08, that could have been your buy. And then today you had some follow through. Now what? Maybe the pattern builds. This is another point of reference. Okay, maybe all of a sudden it's going to take some time and it's going to build like some kind of upper wedge type pattern to give you another good trade-off of or not. So coming into next week, what do you know? You know that today's low is what? 23.46. So that is now your pivot support. And we'll see, do you have an inside day? Do you have more? And how long does it take to maybe go sideways before giving a better trade to get through 23.81 in the time ahead? But for now, not too bad. This was when we were very excited about Google. Remember, we were very excited. That's when I caught my really nice trade. And then into earnings, it just was too extended and they sold FANG and now it's trying to rebuild. So there are ways to manage these patterns. Facebook also, not as strong as Google, but what did it do? It held this 313, reclaimed this little spot, and then today poked its head above 321.60, couldn't hold it. And now what? I guess if you want to redraw your lines a little bit, this is now resistance. What is this? This is 322.94. How come Redler didn't put that high in there? I don't know. I'll put it in anyway for you. 322. What did I say? 322.94. And now this is your low here. So I guess you could make it into like another little compartment. Above here, there's room higher. Below here, there's room a little lower. And it's just a range for now. Remember when we got really excited about this, when it was in the channel, and there was a way to make really good money with options when it cleared this downtrend and reclaimed all the moving averages and then paused that prior resistance and then went again. And now it's just rebuilding. When it's rebuilding, maybe you have less on. Get rid of this 319.16. Now that's where you are now. So if you had to be in something, I was like, if I had to be in something, would you rather, can I be in Facebook? I'm like, I love the way it closed, but yeah, you could be in that. As far as Tesla's concerned, Musk is going to be on Saturday Night Live. You know, not acting special like last year. Last year, this was a special stock, right? Last year, nice channel after the stock split, after hitting 502, gapped up, took out the pivot, took out the high, gave me another nice move above the moving averages. And then right here, it got wishy-washy and changed. Consolidation, already in the S&P, already split. And then it's been a tactical trade. What's a tactical trade? Buying versus a level when you see relative strength based on the market open, or trimming some into strength or fading some into resistance and doing that, right? Here's your red dog reversal buy. Here is, what was this? This was like the prior support that turned into resistance, and now you have a whole lot of noise. Today, it kind of got rejected at 661.85. This is out of the way. What was this? This was the high today, 690. This means nothing now. If you want to take a closer look here, it's choppy as hell. Choppy as hell. Not like, the last year and a half. Choppy as hell. Sometimes that's what happens. What do you do when it's choppy as hell? You don't sit in it in a big fashion, long or short. You tactically approach it based on the chart patterns, based on the morning open, based on the news flow, and based on what you see versus prior levels. And as of now, I guess you could raise this up to here. This is gone. This mattered here because if I push through here, it can get a little quick push, and that's what happened. And you can, I guess, push this a little bit lower. So here's the low of the week. Here's the low of the day, 660. And these are going to be all the things, for next week. And you have to decide whether or not you want to be in these things into next week. And right now, I traded Tesla today, but I didn't take it long. I don't see any value added or any compelling scenario that's telling me to be long or short this thing. It's telling me it's choppy, and you could probably make some kind of money every day if you're tactical and strategic for cash flow, because it does move and has nice ranges. But for now, overall, looking at it like this, tricky spot for Tesla. Yes. And Elon Musk is on Saturday Night Live, so who knows if they're going to try and sell that news. They can't rally it into that. It's telling me a little bit, whatever. IWM had a decent day. Yesterday made a little red dog reversal bottom, cleaned out some excess longs, and got some people trapped short. And then today came up above the moving averages. Looks a little bit better. I would be neutral to positive versus here I was neutral negative, and this made it neutral. And now we'll see, does this build? You can get this out of the way now. This did the red dog reversal up here after that April 21st area. So now we'll see. Again, little neutral to positive. Doesn't mean be all in, but decent. I'll say decent. JP Morgan, I was been in for 2 weeks. I sold a lot of strength going into today, and then I said as soon as you see if it's under, they're going to sell the banks. I sold JP Morgan only down like 60, 70 cents. I said you could probably buy a dip into the 155 to 157 area. And it was very impressive. Look at that. They didn't really care. So this still looks like it's going higher, but I'm out of it. I bought it down here. I added in here, and I got out of it. Made good money, and I'll live. GM I stayed with. Gave you also a decent buy the dip trade. Didn't fall apart. Looks like it can go higher, so I stayed with that. Some guys are still in Deer. I posted this earlier this week. It was a nice breakout long for anybody who wanted to be in it. I did not go in it. Just because I'm not in it doesn't mean you can't be in it. But I identified the pattern here and here, saying, hey, look at Caterpillar. Caterpillar, the cousin or nephew or whatever you want to call it to Deer, broke out, and it even held today and went higher. Nice action there for Caterpillar and Deer. A lot of guys are making good money here. I am not. I'm your offensive coordinator. I'm just going to put the charts out there. You could run those routes. I don't have to run every route. Today I sold some puts in Boeing, thinking, hey, I don't know why this didn't update. I updated it before. Decent candle. I've done it a few times here. Oops, I just erased whatever. I said Boeing's going to stay a decline many different ways. But who knows? Now maybe from the red dog reversal sell, lots of lower highs. Maybe for the first time in a while it gets moving a little bit. So I sold the 220-250 puts for next week, thinking it shouldn't get below this if I'm going to be right. So I put some exposure on that way. And we'll see what happens. What's this? Is this 223.49? Nope, it's 235.91. This is probably down here. You know what? These magic charts, or what? No, they're not even magic charts. They're 235.91. I don't know. My brain is so fried from this week. I don't even remember what chart. What chart program we're using here?
TradeView.
TradeView. Yes, TradeView. But I'm going to be switching over to TrendSpider with my boy Jake at some point, as soon as we get our system set up. But anyway, yeah, this is Boeing from 278 to here. I sold some puts. I'm not so excited about it being long the airlines, but I said, hey, you know, quality name. Just pulled in a lot. I'm sure more and more people every single week that's vaccinated, people will be traveling, so the sentiment gets better, and maybe it's something good to be in. Twitter, people are asking me about. Looks like it's putting in a little bit of a low here. Maybe it could be low, you know, in versus spot, especially if you sold strength here or sold when it broke there. Big gap still, so it's kind of broken. And I'm a little, you know, I'm a little upset about Twitter, the way I've been treated the past 3 days. They thought I was an imposter, so they took me off, and now it's hard to find anybody that's living and live to get it going again. Poor Red Pup is jumping through hoops. I thought he was smarter. He would have had me back on already. Just kidding. By Monday, if I'm not on, shit's going to fly. Anyway, so listen, there's been things to do, and it's been very far and few between. Depending where you look. Some of the value, cyclical, energy, financial, construction, housing. There's been a lot of places that you could just sit and buy dips and trends, and it goes. So if you've been doing that, great. If you've been in tech, or if you've been in FANG, or if you've been in high valuation names, it's been a lot more complicated. Anyway, but there have been ways to navigate it depending on your process. You know, you just can't get stubborn. There are guys that sold these things so well, and they started buying a dip that turned into a bigger and a bigger and a bigger and a bigger and a bigger dip, and all of a sudden they got absolutely annihilated because they didn't have a set of rules. Whereas if you're below the in-21 day, what do? You avoid. You don't sit. You tactically approach it. Some of these names kind of tried to bounce a little bit, but everyone's like, oh, what a big day in plug. I'm like, this is the day in plug. Here is when it was different. Here it broke all the moving averages, and it's been broken ever since. FCell last year was one of my biggest winners. Why? Had a big move, consolidated, got above this, gave you another move, consolidated, gave you another bull flag, another move, all the way up to the red dog reversal here, lost the 8th day, and then it's become a sell ever since. And I think I've tactically, surgically made a lot of money, you know, playing the extremes. But either which way, just to show you, from 29 to below 7.25. Again, I wrote this the other day, 766. I don't know why it doesn't save it. TradeView sucks. Excuse my French. Did I say that? Yeah, I did. Freaking get your shit together. Does TrendSpider save your stuff? It does. We have to switch over to my boy Jake's service. Anyway, that's soon to come. But anyway, tale of two tapes. Above the 21-day special, broke, confirmed the break. Love it and leave it, right? We've talked about that many times. I know a lot of you did that in college and you feel bad about doing it now, but now you can do it with stocks. You don't have to do it with the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever it is you preference or prefer. By the which way, glass is half full above the 21-day, glass is half empty below it. That takes your opinions right out of the trade. What else? Some guys like, why did Peloton bounce? It wasn't even a great bounce, just because it came down so much, it was so oversold. So what did it do? I don't, if you think about it, not a whole hell of a lot. Peloton also a tale of, the moving averages, where here is where I was in love with it. I think I had it on long from 25, not even 35, from 25 all the way up to probably in here. I sold it before that happened. And then this turned into a huge head and shoulders top with the red dog over sell, losing the moving averages here, 142. I'm like, guys, I would not be long this, even though I love Kendall, I love Ali Love, I like Alex Toussaint. I used it twice today, this morning and at lunchtime. Doesn't mean it's a buy. Anyway, I had some follow-up. It didn't quite get to 70, reversed before earnings, and what did it do? Came back up, retested it, and got rejected. Broken, 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 broken. What does broken mean? Broken means you just tactically approach it based on the setup in the morning for cash flow, long or short, until something else gives. And right now, nothing's given here except for very broken. Below the moving average. It's plus 144 you could have been out of this. And besides this little fake out here, which you could have tried, and then right there on this candle, you could have also said, hey, I'm in it. I think it's going to bounce. It bounced, and then right here was your out. Right when it had an upper flag, it looked okay. This bar should have said, hey, be careful. This doji should have said, you should be more careful. And then on this bar, you should have said, I'm running for the hills long, maybe getting short. And then it's been very bearish since. Time and a place, depending on the technicals. So it's 4:33. I am hoping that I'll be live on Monday. Thank you, Dr. J, Mr. Nigerian. He sent out 2 tweets. He has like 250,000 Twitter followers. I would say out of my 140,000 Twitter followers, 100 of them probably follow the 2 of us. And he was gracious enough to say, hey, I'll send out a tweet and let everyone know you're not kidnapped, or you haven't been thrown off Twitter, that somebody impersonated you and they kicked you off. That's friggin' crazy. Cheers to the friggin' stupidity of social media. So he was cool. He tried to let people know that Red Dog's okay. JC from All Star Charts, good friend of mine, he also did. So I appreciate everybody that retweeted the tweet saying, hey, Red Dog's still here doing his charts, having his iced coffee, drinking a few beers, doing some push-ups, hanging out with Red Pup, making some money, hanging out with the virtual trading floor, doing the 35 charts of Redler Premium, but he's not on the public Twitter sphere because he was kicked off because too many people impersonated him, that they thought that he was the impersonator. Even Instagram. The guy who impersonated me on Instagram had more followers than I do because I'm not that active on Instagram. So I got kicked off as the impersonator, and I'm, this is me. Here, actually, I shouldn't show you my license because somebody could impersonate that. Oh, goodness. Well, anyway, it's Mother's Day this weekend. My parents are flying in from Florida. I haven't seen my parents since Father's Day. I'm going to give them a hug and a kiss and hang out. I'm so excited to see them. They're going to be able to come see Chase kick friggin' ass at the Lightning lacrosse tournament. We have 3 games on Saturday. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much, and they get to come watch. They love watching him, and I love having them watch him. Chase is the C for Carl, which is Grandpa Carl, who survived friggin' the Holocaust. So the chain of events is all there. So it'll be pretty cool for my dad to watch him, do his thing. And my mom. I remember we did the happy hour. My mom was like, you know that your other grandfather was pretty impressive too. I'm like, Mom, I understand that we were talking about Grandpa Carl. Anyway, if you're watching this, Mom, I have respect for you. They were a little older. I wasn't as, I didn't know them as well. So anyway, with that said, it's a little bit TMI. You know what TMI means? Anyway, let's do crypto real quickly before we go, because we're going to be looking at crypto all weekend because, all you could do on the weekend is read Barron's, which I don't read anymore. It's friggin' usually bearish. But anyway, Bitcoin has a little inside box. The last few times Bitcoin corrected, this was when I put my entire nest egg, no, I'm kidding, but a big amount of money into my Coinbase account before I turned it into Coinbase Pro. Big move, sell some strength, rebuild, another new highs above a prior high, rebuild a shorter new high, and then this is when I kind of thought that the crypto market would be in trouble, Bitcoin would be take a long time to rebuild, and it got down here, and I did not buy this dip, but now it seems like it's rebuilding in here the same way it did here and here, but in the meantime, we focused on Ethereum, which became the leader because of all the NFTs, and I'm not going to get into the fundamental reasons why, but Ethereum wound up having a spectacular move. I've tweeted many times when my Twitter account was working, when I thought Ethereum was going to outperform Bitcoin over the course of a holiday weekend or whatever. I've been in Ethereum since here. In this area, I remember getting to like tier 3, got back to like a tier 1, and then it rebuilt, gave me a high, another higher high, now 36.10, and it's still flagging. I don't own enough of Ethereum right now. I'm hoping we get a pull in soon. Some other guys like, what are your spec plays? Well, Mana, thanks to Red Pup, has been my spec play. I bought it down here, sold some. I bought a lot more, sold some, and I'm still in a decent amount of size. And I do think at some point, even though it's a little sloppy, it's going to get above this 160, 164. and be in the 2, 3, 4 range. Guys think this is the second or third inning. Then we also played this ADA this week, which was another one. This was from the virtual trading floor. Talking about this exchange that was built by the co-founder of Ethereum, whatever. I bought it, I think, on this day. I was like, oh, that's great. And then all of a sudden that happened. Now it probably needs a little bit of time before taking out 175 and 188 to head higher. And those are my 4 things. I remember when I bought Link, people thought I was nuts at 12. I sold it at 30. It's a lot higher. Uni, I bought it at 4. I sold it at 18. It's a lot higher. We'll see what these 2 things do besides, Ethereum and Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it would be great if Bitcoin gets on its game and takes out highs and shows some power and drags the sector up. But don't get too big just in case it doesn't. It's come a long way since December, so know your risk. Elon's going to be talking about Doge this in Saturday Night Live or something like that. All I know is if you look at the chart, fantastical, right? This is when it broke out, gave you a move up to, what was that, 43, pulled in, proved it can go higher, took out a high, made another high, and now it's trying to hold up again. This is the recent high, and we'll see if there's one more bit of excitement. I have to say my son Chase owns it. He's a friggin' genius, like all the other kids out there. And maybe if it gets above 69 into the 75, 85, I'll have him sell it prior to Saturday Night Live, because who knows if they sell the event. And even if they don't, it goes higher. I don't care. He'll make 200%. It's a good learning experience for him that charts are charts, and take your opinions out of the chart, because most intelligent individuals probably said, I'm not buying this thing. It's 7 cents. I don't want to make whatever 1,000%. Anyway, that's that. So good luck this weekend. Enjoy your parents, your mom. It's Mom's Day. She wiped your nose. She friggin' wiped your ass. And always try to, comfort you in times where not as good as they could have been. And then she's always been there to give you a high five. So respect your mom, and right? Your mom gives you high fives, Brandon.
Yeah.
But she also wiped your ass too. So don't be, She also carried you in her belly. You know what that was like? She couldn't drink. No kidding. Well, some did. Back in the 80s, they were smoking and drinking. Now, and they were driving kids in seats backwards in station wagons. Now you can't even drink a sugared soda without getting in trouble. Just kidding. Anyway, your mom wants flowers, even if she says she doesn't. Have a good weekend, guys.